Real emergency stories happening now. We're diving into one of the most intense car accident stories and wildest police chases to hit the streets. If you're ready to get early access to videos and score exclusive skins for BeamNG, hit that join button and stay tuned. The dawn was just breaking as Tati started her drive to work on the 710 freeway in Long Beach, her mind already whirring through her to-do list for the day. It was just after 4 a.m., and the road was quiet. The silence was interrupted by the car flying around her at over 90 miles per hour. The vehicle impacted with a safety attenuators soon after it overtook Tati's car. The crash, which would go down as one of the deadliest on that stretch of freeway in recent memory, had already claimed 5 young lives. Amid the wreckage, the Los Angeles County Coroner's Office later identified 2 of the victims as George Dobbs and Araya Slimaker, both only 15 years old. The Sonata, carrying 6 passengers, had smashed into a set of safety attenuators designed to absorb collision forces. But at such a speed, the impact was devastating. Only 1 passenger survived, rushed to the hospital with severe injuries, where they stabilized the person. The footage on her dash cam would serve as a silent witness to a tragedy that had shattered lives and shocked a city, sparking investigations by the California Highway Patrol into how such a horrifying accident could happen in the quiet of an early morning. Don't drive fast, especially when you have no skills. Stay responsible. You can easily kill yourself. Jack DoHery is a famous known streamer who recently turned 21. One day he decided it is a good idea to take his $200,000 McLaren 570s on the highway during heavy rain. While he was driving down the highway, he was streaming and checking chat on his phone. As we can see, he is not fully concentrated to the road ahead. His head is down, looking on chat. He was doing over 70 miles per hour when suddenly his car hydroplaned and he lost control before he crashed into the guardrails. His cameraman recorded the crash, and right after the crash, they were locked inside the car. Witnesses went to help them out, breaking a window and take both of them out of the car. DoHery's cameraman was seriously injured on his head, but DoHery didn't care much. He just was making sure the content is still going, and then he cried about his car. There was also a police officer driving by who quickly pulled over and went to investigate the accident. He only asked DoHery and his cameraman if they are okay, and DoHery obviously told him only that he was driving, and suddenly the car spun out. No citation was made on the accident scene, but few days after the accident, on DoHery's birthday, police officer Cam down knocking on his doors and brought him the citation based on the clips that were online, where it clearly shows DoHery texting and driving. DoHery was permanently banned from Kick due to this incident. According to the New Times, the crash report from the Florida Highway Patrol states that DoHery was slapped with a traffic citation for using his phone while driving. This is exactly how you should never behave. Take DoHery as an example of what not to do. In the dim early hours of April 6th, the San Fernando Valley was unusually silent when 2 LAPD West Valley officers noticed a gray 2019 Lamborghini Huracan idling at a red light on Sherman Way, near Reseda Boulevard. As they pulled up beside it, they saw something shocking. The driver, slumped against the seat, was fast asleep. The officers approached, quietly assessing the situation, before cautiously tapping on the window to wake him. Upon pulling him over, they asked for his license and registration. What they discovered set off a chain of events neither officer would soon forget. The Lamborghini had been reported stolen, and the man behind the wheel, Elliot Dugan, 51, was wanted for multiple felonies. Yet Dugan refused to exit the car, his frustration boiling over as he argued with the officers. In a split-second decision, he floored the gas pedal, tearing down Sherman Way. The officers followed, but within moments, the Lamborghini's speedometer soared past 113 miles per hour. Dugan lost control only a few blocks later, near Vinalden Avenue. The powerful vehicle collided with the center median, the impact so violent that it launched him hundreds of feet. By the time officers arrived, they found only fragments of the Lamborghini scattered across the street, the car's core shredded and Dugan's body far from the wreckage. As paramedics arrived and confirmed Dugan's death, the scene fell silent once more, only broken by the distant hum of the city waking up. The LAPD has since launched an investigation into the events that led to the tragic crash. meticulously reviewing the case to determine if protocol was followed during the encounter. It's a process expected to take months, though the scars left by that early morning pursuit are likely to linger much longer. Sometimes a moment's reckless decision can shatter lives, reminding us that true freedom and strength lie in responsibility, not in defiance or speed. In the quiet hours of August 4, 2021, Officer John Nunez of the North Bergen Police Department was patrolling near 61st Street and Kennedy Boulevard when a flash of headlights caught his attention. It was a 2022 Kia Stinger, speeding down the road, weaving slightly and pushing well above the limits. The officer quickly acted, pulling the car over, and as he approached, he took in the situation. Two people inside, the driver, 24-year-old Luis Fernando Ceballos, and his passenger, Alexis Rodriguez, who looked anxious and in a rush. When Officer Nunes asked them about their speed, Alexis explained that they were on their first date, trying to make their way back, and admitted she had pressured Luis to hurry up so she could get home. Her words carried a mix of urgency and guilt, and she took responsibility for pushing him to speed. The officer assured her it wasn't her fault and turned to Luis, explaining the seriousness of reckless driving. He issued Luis 3 citations for reckless driving, ignoring a flashing traffic signal, and violating restrictions on his provisional license. Before letting them go, Officer Nunez offered a sincere warning. Drive safely, accidents happen in a heartbeat. Not long after clearing the stop around 2:02 a.m., a message crackled over the police radio. There'd been a severe accident involving a car and a tractor trailer on Route 19 at 36th Street. Officer Nunez responded, his car racing to the scene, but as he neared the crash site, his stomach dropped. The vehicle involved was the same Kia Stinger he had just stopped minutes before. Now it was crumpled, scattered across the road, its remains a haunting reminder of the warning he had just given. The scene was a somber one. The tractor-trailer driver had been trying to back into a loading dock when the Kia Stinger, coming at an extreme speed, collided with it. Both occupants, Luis and Alexis, were found lifeless, and a doctor on scene pronounced them dead shortly after 2:26 a.m. Officer Nunez and his colleagues gathered details from the truck driver, who confirmed he'd been backing up to make a delivery at a nearby loading dock when the car struck his trailer from behind. As investigators took in the scene, Alexis's purse lay nearby, prompting Officer Kevin Rodriguez to retrieve her identification since Officer Nunez hadn't needed to ask for it during their traffic stop just minutes before. Hours later, as dawn approached and the remains were removed, investigators continued their painstaking work. The Kia Stinger was towed and the road was cleared, reopening for morning traffic. But the investigation was far from over. Detective Mina from the Hudson County Regional Crash Team analyzed data from the car's event recorder, which would later reveal the full extent of the car's speed at the time of the crash. In those final seconds, the Kia had reached an unimaginable 124 miles per hour, decelerating only slightly before impact. Weeks later, the report concluded that, had they been following the posted speed limits, this tragedy could have been avoided entirely. The crash, now thoroughly documented, stood as a stark reminder of the dangers of reckless driving. For Officer Nunez, the memory of that early morning conversation would stay with him, a poignant reminder of just how quickly lives can change and how precious a moment's caution truly is.